Hello, welcome to Moonlit Justice Oracle. I'm here to do a Divine Feminine reading. I'm going to do things a little different this time than I usually have been doing on this channel. I'm going to use all tarot. All tarot all day. And for those of you who have been following me for a while or have seen my older videos, you know, way out of my comfort zone. But with every day that passes, I grow in confidence with tarot, so we'll see how it goes. Thank you for being here. Thank you for everything you do in support of this channel. I really do appreciate you. Alright. May I have a card representing Divine Feminine's current energy within the connection to their Divine Masculine counterpart? Divine Feminine's current energy in the connection. The Lovers, wow. Hands, please don't. The Lovers. This Divine Feminine's energy is very connected to the Divine Masculine, to the connection in general. And it's like I'm looking at this ladder here. And it's like they're together and they're looking at the path upward. The path to ascension, to elevating. Why is the Divine Feminine currently in this Lover's energy? Why is the Divine Feminine currently in this Lover's energy? Why is Divine Feminine? Ace of Wands. They're like, look what I found. Boom. Ace of Wands. Interesting. Yeah, it's like they've been in this... They went searching. They found something. And look at the ladder coming out. Interesting. Feeling inspired. That first spark of passion, that inspiration. The Divine Feminine has found the fire within regarding this connection. What would be beneficial for the Divine Feminine to avoid whilst in this Lover's energy? What should the Divine Feminine? Two of Cups. Two of Cups means, I mean, to me it means like sharing. Because it's like in this card, they're together. They're in this embrace, right? They're sharing their cups. In this card, they're not, it looks from afar like they're holding hands, but they're really not. They're like, oh. The hands are like bound together. I don't know if you could see this very well. I don't think you can. I got my focus set to focus on like this distance. Huh. So it would be beneficial while the Divine Feminine is in this Lover's energy to not... I'm getting more of like an independent energy when it comes to emotional fulfillment, like not relying on the Divine counterpart or anything else for emotional fulfillment. Focusing on filling one's own cup versus relying on the cup of another. What would be a beneficial energy for the Divine Feminine to lean into or find or embrace? What would be a beneficial energy for the Divine Feminine? The Sun. Positivity, clarity. What is the Divine Feminine's current obstacle challenge within this connection? What is Divine Feminine's current obstacle challenge within this connection? Page of Swords. Page of Swords is a very observant, passive card. In this card, you can see this person. I think they're looking through a spyglass. They're looking off into the distance. They have this sword of truth here. Focus. They're focusing on something. Obstacle challenge for Divine Feminine. Maybe their perception of something. Because it's like, okay, if if Two of Cups is what the Divine Feminine should avoid while being in the Lover's energy, it's kind of like, I don't know if this Divine Feminine is feeling like they need the other person for emotional fulfillment in some way. Or it's like they're relying on the energy of the other person to feel connected, to feel close. The Sun for what they should lean into or strive for. Yeah, I'm definitely getting, I mean, there's nothing that, aside from the Two of Cups being the energy to avoid, I'm not getting much regarding, like, independent fulfillment. Right? Because that's how these connections work. It's learning how to provide emotional satisfaction for yourself first, and then coming together, in my opinion. I'm also getting like an excited energy, because with the Ace of Wands, right, that's a passionate new beginning, something exciting. And it's like maybe this Divine Feminine feels very excited about the connection, or they're feeling very passionate about the connection towards the Divine Masculine, etc., right? And maybe it's like that desire for closeness is maybe an obstacle for them in some way. And this is because there's some form of awareness or some form of, their obstacle, challenge, Page of Swords. Focusing on the connection, the Divine Masculine, and I'm feeling that this Divine Feminine collective that might resonate with this, they might be being encouraged to seek personal happiness, personal fulfillment at this time. Not focusing on the Divine Masculine, not focusing on needing anything or wanting anything. Yes, it's okay to need and want, but I think that they're being encouraged to not focus on that so much. Focus on their own growth, focus on their own happiness and positivity. This might have something to do with their perception or like the way they're looking at something. Because it's like this person with the spyglass is looking off into the distance, right? Who knows what their thoughts are about what they're seeing? And somehow this is the challenge. I think it's a perception, a perspective. What's currently going well for Divine Feminine in this connection? What is currently going well? 9 of Wands. It's like even though times might be tough in some way, the candles are still lit, right? It's like surrounded by water. This person's got an umbrella. There might be some difficult emotions involved with this Divine Feminine, but they haven't given up. They're not giving up. The flames still exist. It's interesting, because in this card, this person isn't covering the candle. What is this, a candelabra? Is that what one would call this? It's like a chandelier. This person isn't covering the flames on these candles with the umbrella. They're covering themselves. They're protecting themselves. And with the 9 of Wands, right, oftentimes it's someone who has boundaries. They've been through a lot. It's like self-protection. I'm interested to clarify these more. There's a lot of ways this can go at this point. What is Divine Feminine's what is Divine Feminine's advice, guidance regarding being in this Lover's energy? What is Divine Feminine's advice regarding being in this energy? What is Divine Feminine's advice? The Empress. Wow. Stepping into your power. This Divine Empress, this Divine Feminine is being encouraged to step into their power, allowing things to expand, allowing things to Interesting with this candle over here too. What is this Empress doing? This Empress is sewing something. They're sewing something. And the fire is next to them. It's like okay, if we're talking about perspective here, right? This Empress is being encouraged to continue going about within this connection towards themselves, towards the Divine Masculine. They're being encouraged to continue coming from a place of love, nurturing, compassion. Allowing room for expansion, for growth, right? Because the Empress fosters growth. I don't know. I'm kind of getting like, there might be a major challenge with this Divine Feminine currently regarding being I feel like this is more of a desire thing, or more of like, so if these counterparts are in separation, it might be a particularly challenging time for this Empress to be separated in a way. Although, with the connections, it's like, there's never a separation, there's a physical separation. I think this Divine Feminine might need a reminder about that, right? It's like if there's a physical separation, there's a reason for that. Because growth is needed on the Divine Feminine side and or the Divine Masculine side, right? What's this? Three of Swords. Yeah, there's a need to heal from any kind of pain, feelings of betrayal or hurt. Continuing on that, yeah, strength. Major transformation. It's like with the Sun being the energy that Divine Feminine is being encouraged to lean into, right? It's like with death energy, after the transformation, life begins again. After death, life, right? Interesting. All right, let's clarify some more. Why is the Lovers here for Divine Feminine's current energy within this connection? Why is the Lovers here for Divine Feminine's current energy? Why is the Lovers here for Divine Feminine? Nine of Pentacles. Yeah. We're talking again about the independent self, right? I was mentioning more on the emotional level, being emotionally independent, not needing or wanting the feeling of togetherness for one's personal emotional fulfillment, right? It's like, again, of course it's natural and great to want someone and need someone, right? To feel that, hold on. Of course it's okay to feel like one needs someone or wants someone. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think that at this particular phase or stage in this connection, it's important for this Divine Feminine to feel positive, happy on their own, focusing on their own physical world with Nine of Pentacles. It's like there's an awareness of this connection. There's an awareness that they are connected to the Divine Masculine, right? And I think that it's particularly hard, for whatever reasons, for this Divine Feminine to be apart from their Divine Masculine. Maybe they have other things going on in their life that are like very challenging, and it's like sometimes we just need a friggin' hug. You know what I mean? I think that's what's going on here. It's like, remember when I said earlier when this card first came out, it's like, look what I found, or I found something, or I don't remember what I said. But it's like now that, I don't know if this is something the Divine Feminine has more recently found again perhaps. And it's like now that this Divine Feminine found it with the King of Swords energy, right? The King of Swords is, there's a lot of awareness, a lot of understanding, knowledge. It's like this newfound or refound, rediscovered passion, fire energy is challenging for this Divine Feminine in some way. Why is Two of Cups here for what the Divine Feminine should avoid while in this energy? Why is Two of Cups here for why the Divine Feminine? I keep saying that. Why the Divine Feminine? Why? Five of Pentacles, yeah. Five of Pentacles. It's like being like left out in the cold, some kind of lack mentality. There's a lot here about, it's like the connection is, it's not in the physical realm right now, and that's the challenge. And I think that this Divine Feminine is currently overcoming how they're seeing this, or what they're focusing on. Like if they're focusing on the fact that there is not a physical connection here, that's an obstacle challenge for them. Or it may be causing obstacles, challenges within this connection in some way, within their own personal energy. It's like when we focus on what's lacking or what we don't have, that's the energy we're putting out there, right? And of course, I'm not going to sit here and say one should never feel like they're lacking in anything, or one should never yearn for what they don't physically have. But when we focus on that, when we choose to let that kind of lead our thoughts regarding situations, the energy we're putting out is, I don't have it. It's like an affirmation, right? It's like, I don't have this person, or this connection doesn't exist in the physical realm, or etc., right? It's just putting that energy out. Why is the Sun here for what would be beneficial for the Divine Feminine to lean into, or what is this? Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups. Possibilities. It's like, this card says illusionary success. It's like a fantasy, right? It's like this particular Divine Feminine collective might have a difficult time when it comes to, especially if they're in King of Swords energy, or if they're currently operating from King of Swords energy. It's very focused on what can be seen, what can be observed in the physical realm, right? It's like this Divine Feminine is being encouraged to find positivity, find happiness. Oh, interesting. I love this deck, the Somnio Tarot deck. In this Sun card, this person's wearing I'd say, I don't know, maroon, dark red. They're wearing a dark red cloth. And in the Empress card for the Divine Feminine's guidance, they're sewing this red cloth. It's like making something for themselves that increases the positivity, or allows them to feel more optimistic, positive, happy. Putting in the work themselves to create that for themselves. Interesting. Seven of Cups. Maybe this Divine Feminine is currently feeling like, if we're talking about what someone's focusing on, right? It's like maybe this Divine Feminine is currently focused on the possibility, Seven of Cups possibilities, the possibility that there will not be a physical union in some way. And that this will continue to be the spiritual connection. And they're being encouraged to come from a perspective or work on having a mindset, being able to see clearly that just because things look a certain way in the physical realm, right? There's still possibilities, there's still potential, there's something about this. It's driving me nuts like things do when I know there's something about it that I haven't thought of or said. There might be, this Divine Feminine might have challenges when it comes to seeing possibilities in situations that the physical realm does not indicate to be true. Or it's like, what I'm getting from the other decks that we've been using, the Believe in Magic, that one, or the Reaching Your Destination card with the castle and the bubble, and it's like, being able to see the potential for things to be real in the tangible realm, the physical realm, when that's not necessarily what's being seen with the King of Swords, right? That's not necessarily what's being seen or observed. It's like, okay, Page of Swords is a less evolved version of the King of Swords. And if the Divine Feminine is in the Lover's energy currently, because of Ace of Wands, King of Swords, they have a deep understanding. They have a very knowledgeable perspective of this connection. But there's something about the way they're perceiving it right now, which is like they're not observing the situation or thinking about the situation from their full potential. Does that make sense, what I just said? It's like they have the capability to look at the situation from a King of Swords perspective, which is seeing complete truth. And they're looking at it in a different way currently. Almost said temporarily. So I think something's going on. If I'm going to make assumptions right now, I think that this Divine Feminine is very schooled and looking at things from a King of Swords perspective. They have the capability, they've done it before, they can do it again. Something's going on. Something's going on with them that has them feeling like a level of insecurity perhaps when it comes to this connection. And I'm not sure what that's going to be, but maybe we'll figure it out. They're being encouraged to focus on the positive aspects to this connection, focus on what's going right, focusing on the potential for this to be in their physical reality at some point. It's like when we're afraid to have hope for something, right? Maybe there's a reason. Maybe there's something this Divine Feminine's gone through in this connection or outside of this connection that has them hesitant when it comes to having hope in situations, to the point where maybe they tend to, I'm kind of getting like like going in and out of different perspectives, right? Five of Cups energy, where it's like we have the choice, in Five of Cups, we have the choice to look at things from a perspective of pessimism or focusing on the negative in a situation or focusing on things that have gone wrong. But we also have the choice to turn around and look at things from a more positive perspective. It's just catching ourselves when we find ourselves in the negative perspectives. Catching ourselves and be like, wait a minute. I'm learned enough to understand that that's not necessarily the truth. I might temporarily be feeling these ways or looking at the situation in this way, but that's not the truth. There's still potential. There's still a possibility. This Divine Feminine is being encouraged to not focus on the other person, the Divine Masculine. Not focusing on them contributing to the Divine Feminine's emotional fulfillment in some way. Not relying on anyone else for their own emotional fulfillment, their own independent success. They're focused on stepping into they're being encouraged to step into their own power as the Empress. Make your damn red outfit, Empress, and get on your horse and gallop to the sunset. You're fine. Everything's fine. Why is Page of Swords here for Divine Feminine's current obstacle challenge? Why is the Page of Swords here for Divine Feminine's current obstacle challenge? Yeah. Peace. Two of Swords. I like this deck. It's interesting. This is the Heaven and Earth Tarot. It has interesting words describing the cards. A lot of the times oftentimes I don't contribute these words to my meaning of these cards. But I like this deck because it allows me a different perspective to look at things. Two of Swords. Indecision. This person's blindfolded. They can't see. They have a decision to make. Page of Swords. It's like if this Divine Feminine doesn't know what's happening, or they're unsure of what's going to happen, what decision will be made. Something happened. Something happened to this Divine Feminine while they were down in this hole, finding this Ace of Wands, finding this passion, inspiration, desire. Something happened to them, and that's why they're currently struggling or finding it difficult. Because it's like now that they found this, I think I said this earlier, now that they found this, whatever happened down in here, smoke, not seeing something clearly, something happened in this hole. What happened in the hole? What the F happened in the hole, Divine Feminine? Tell us what happened to you in that hole. What happened to Divine Feminine in this hole? Finding this Ace of Wands. What happened to the Divine Feminine? Tower. Shit. I'm telling you, something happened. What happened? The Tower. Something, they had a realization. They had, something suddenly happened. Things that were, well, did this Divine Feminine, okay, did this Divine Feminine go into this hole as this King of Swords? And something happened that made them doubt everything they knew? Something happened that made them doubt everything they knew, and that's why they're in this Page of Swords energy? Back to the student? Because this is the master. King of Swords is the master. The master of knowledge. The Page of Swords is the student. Something happened. This Divine Feminine went into the hole. There was some kind of explosion. And they emerged eventually with this Ace of Wands. This newfound passion, renewed passion. They thought they knew something. And now they're currently in Page of Swords energy, or yeah, it's like, okay, this Divine Feminine knew a lot. They do know a lot. And maybe they're in a situation now where they're just observers, or they're, observing. Being at peace without knowing everything. That's their current obstacle challenge. And I think I've spoken on this before, where it's like it could be hard for some people. I'm one of them. It can be hard for some people to be at peace without knowing everything. Because sometimes we do tend to go to like worst case scenario, and that's something, that's all a mindset, you know. That's something that I personally, I've I've had to work on a lot, mostly many years ago, but it's a regularly occurring challenge for me to not go to worst case scenario. Like if I don't hear from someone I'm used to hearing from every multiple times a day, and it's been many hours, I immediately go to worst case scenario if something's wrong with that person, something bad happened. And it's like, I don't know if it's an anxiety thing or what, but it can be a difficult perspective to snap out of in some way. For me, it used to be this might be relevant. For me, that mindset, worst case scenario, focusing on negative, things like that, that used to be my way of life. Like that was my autopilot response to what I would observe or experience, right? And as the years have progressed and as I've worked on myself, I have learned to 99% of the time be able to look at things from a more positive perspective, a more hopeful perspective, right? But do know, there's that 1% of the time that I'll just have these moments where I go to worst case scenario. It's like something triggers it within me. Something triggers that within me. And it's like, as the years have gone by, those moments are less and less, which is great. But they do happen still. I think that's what's going on with this Divine Feminine. I think that this isn't their usual mode of operation here. Something's going on. Something happened in that tunnel. Something happened in that hole where they found this Ace of Wands. Something happened in there that shifted their perspective in a way, or that triggered them. Maybe it's a trigger thing. They were triggered, and now they're feeling maybe they're now having a hard time when it comes to how they're perceiving this connection, or themselves, or the Divine Masculine, or all of it. They're feeling the lack. They're feeling the lack of union in the physical realm right now. And it's because something happened in this hole. Their current obstacle challenge is being able to be at peace, be at peace with what they cannot see or know. Be at peace with the unknown, the moon, right? And it's like, maybe they're constantly looking for information, or they're trying to figure out what's happening, or they're wanting to know something. Nine of Wands for what's going well. Whatever's happened here, it's like I'm getting the wind, right? The wind blows these candles out. It's not being submerged in the water, but the wind, the air, the sword energy, right? That's what can blow these candles out. The candles aren't blown out. This Divine Feminine is in control of their thoughts in some way. Every once in a while, because there's two of these 9 candles have been blown out. And it's like, yes, every once in a while, that gust of wind will come on by. But they haven't given up. There's still hope for them. They still feel hopeful. But something's gone on. Something went on in that whole tower, huh? Why is the Nine of Wands here for what's going well for this Divine Feminine in the connection? Why is the Nine of Wands here for what's going well for the Divine Feminine? Nine of Wands for what's going well for the Divine Feminine. Three of Wands. Established strength. Yeah. It's like this Divine Feminine hasn't given up. They haven't let whatever perspective this is, they haven't let that take over to the point where they give up or lose hope in some way. I think this Divine Feminine might have a difficult time when it comes to waiting, because in this card, this person's taken actions, and they're waiting for those actions to result in something, right? This person is focused on the future. They're focused on this is like a card of expectations. I think I was saying earlier, when it comes to being okay with having hope, or feeling like it's safe to have hope in some way, that might be a thing. That might be a factor in what's going on with this Divine Feminine. Establish strength, 9 of Wands, for what's going well for this Divine Feminine in the connection. Yeah, there's a lot of resilience here. There's a lot of, like, refusal to give up. It's like this Divine Feminine has a deep inner knowing. They understand and believe that there's a positive future with this connection, right? I think that this is just a moment of, this is just a phase, a necessary phase, I'm sure. I think that every time we go through these moments, it's for a reason. These moments of uncertainty, of insecurity, of hopelessness, it's all for a reason. It's all for a reason. This could have something to do with, like, taming the beast within, right? Maybe this divine feminine's beast within has something to do with feeling anxious when uncertain in some way, or feeling, it's like what I was talking about earlier with the perspectives, looking at things from with a positive outlook versus negative outlook, things like that. Maybe that's part of this Divine Feminine's beast within that they've been gently taming. Huh. Gentle taming. Why is the Empress here for Divine Feminine's advice, guidance? Why is the Empress here for Divine Feminine's guidance? Queen of Swords. Yeah. I think this Divine Feminine is being encouraged to try to get out of their head, or try to focus on figuring out what perspective they're looking at this connection from, or what perspective they're looking at this Divine Masculine from, and really understanding the importance about how they allow their hearts to guide them in this. Like, if we're talking about someone not being able to see or not knowing something, relying on their intuition, relying on their feelings. It's like being heart over head in this matter. I think that's important. Shit. And this Queen of Swords? This Queen of Swords is holding a severed head. My goodness. My goodness. Alright, Divine Feminine, you're being encouraged to not sever anyone's head from their body. Don't go disemboweling people. And sew your damn red cloth instead. My goodness. Find your own happiness, your own positivity, your own vitality. Focus on that. Do not just put your sword away for a little bit. Put your sword away. And it's like even in the Page of Swords here. I don't know if you can see this very well, but there's this sword down here. It's like this sword is ready at all times. What's going on with this Divine Feminine? Something's happened that either recently or in the past or throughout life, something's happened that puts this Divine Feminine in this, like... No judgment. I mean, of course, these things happen. But something happened. Something happened. And they're like... What happened? So I'm not getting anger. I'm just getting... Like, this Divine Feminine's been effed with or something. This Divine Feminine's been through a lot. And maybe that's why they tend to go to that perspective of Like worst case scenario, right? Yeah, we've all been wronged in the past in some way, right? But something about this divine feminine is like, you can only be pushed so far before you sever heads. Before you find that energy of, just don't even F with me. My goodness. Anyways, this divine feminine's being encouraged to put the head down, put it in your collection of severed heads, and get out your sewing table and work on something that will help you find your own happiness, your own positivity. Something about this wall. I just noticed this horse and this person, they're on this wall. And this red cloth is draping down it. Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm getting from that. Let's move on. Alright, final go around. Yeah, this fine feminine with the candle next to them as they're working on this cloth. It's like allowing that passion, allowing this, if it's newfound or rediscovered, allowing that to motivate or inspire in some way when it comes to whatever they're making in this Empress energy. Whatever it is that they're making or working on or focused on, allow this flame of passion to fuel it or to cast light onto whatever's going on here. It's like now that this passion has been found, they're like, what do I do with this? And they're like, all of a sudden it's triggered something. It's triggered some kind of feeling of lack or feeling like feeling the lack of physical union in some way. Whatever's happened has triggered them. Is this upside down? It's upside down. Alright, last go around. Why is the Lovers here for Divine Feminine's current energy? Four of Wands, yeah. Four of Wands. Man, with the red cloth, this is like a red ribbon around their wrists. This is union. This is... They're separate from the union in the physical realm with the Nine of Pentacles here, right? They're feeling the connection, they know the connection, they're aware of it, but they're currently in the energy of being separate from it. And I think they're in that energy because of their perspective or what they're choosing to focus on in some way. It's like making something. I don't know. What's this? Knight of Swords and Sun. Why is the Ace of Wands here for why the Divine Feminine is in this Lover's energy? Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands for why? Six of Pentacles. This is a card of giving, receiving, equality, generosity. It's like this Divine Feminine wants to give to the connection. I don't know if there's been a point in the past or if this is the first time, but they've been inspired, they're feeling passionate, and they want to give to the connection in some way. And I think that they're focused on physical giving in some way, or giving physical energy in some way. Why is Six of Pentacles here with the Ace of Wands for why Divine Feminine? Two of Swords. Again, with the Two of Swords. It's like wanting to give to someone that is not there, that you can't see. You know what I mean? And it's like this Divine Feminine popped up out of this hole with this wand. Look what I found. I want to give this to my Divine Masculine, right? And the Divine Masculine isn't there, so they're standing there with this burning stick. they're like, what do I do with this? It's hot. And it's okay. It's still burning. They're not going to let it go out. It's just, I think it's like, when I was saying like they're feeling a level of anxiety in some way. It's like, okay, now I found this passion. It's having an anxiety that it's going to like go out, or I don't know what that is. Maybe it makes sense to someone. It's like, what do I do with this? What do I do with this fiery wand? What do I do with my flames of passion? Oh, maybe that's an interesting thing, because it's like, I mean, flames of passion. We could be talking about a lot of different things, but there's all sorts of things you can do with that energy. Find a creative outlet, right? With this Empress sewing here, finding a creative outlet. Finding ways to release and to utilize that passionate energy, that excited energy. Like if this is a Divine Feminine whose Divine Masculine is not around in the physical realm, finding ways to utilize that passion without them. Finding ways to, I don't know, find a healthy release for that passion. Whether it's creative outlets or any kind of healthy outlet. Why is Two of Cups here for what Divine Feminine should avoid whilst in this energy? Two of Cups for what Divine Feminine should avoid? The Lovers, yeah, this is wild. The Lovers, Two of Cups. Yeah, it's like not... No, what did I say earlier? It's like sometimes we just need a hug. It's like not... It's like being okay without that hug. You don't need the hug. It's a hug. Yes, they're great. You don't need it to physically keep on going. You know what I mean? It could be wanted. It could be great. This Divine Feminine is not getting their hug. Yeah. This Divine Feminine is definitely being encouraged to find a way, whether it's perspective and or what they're choosing to focus on, what they're putting the energy into. They're being encouraged to find a way to do it without this Divine Masculine in their physical lives in some way. Why is the Sun here for what would be beneficial for this Divine Feminine to lean into or strive for? The Sun for what would be beneficial for this Divine Feminine? King of Pentacles. So this might be figuring out how to be the master of one's own physical domain. Why is the King of Pentacles here with Seven of Cups, the Sun? Knight of Pentacles. Huh. I don't know if this King of Pentacles represents the Divine Masculine. Very well could, especially with this Earth energy, the physical realm. And I was saying before that having a more positive outlook when it comes to the possibility that this Divine Masculine energy with the Knight of Pentacles as well, this is someone who is on their way. They're not rushing. They're being practical, responsible, because they care about reaching their destination. They care about reaching their destination in a safe and stable manner. That's what I'm getting. In a safe and stable manner. This is a slower process. It's the Knight of Pentacles, right? It's a slow and steady journey, but it's beneficial to be a slow and steady journey. Knight of Pentacles here. Knight of Pentacles, Queen of Swords. There's something about this. There's something about this Queen of Swords with their severed head. Something about this Divine Feminine. This Divine Feminine gets triggered by something. And I feel like it has something to do with, like the unknown, not seeing something, or not knowing something, and then maybe it has something to do with, because this is clarifying the Knight of Pentacles, right? This might have something to do with how they perceive someone moving in a slower pace, a more stable pace. Maybe this just isn't something that they're used to. Bless you, my little angel. Yeah, maybe they're just not used to, or I don't know if this is like in the past. I'm definitely getting, for some reason, this Divine Feminine is triggered by something involving I don't know if it has something to do with this connection in general. How they perceive, or how they're currently perceiving the possibilities of their Divine Masculine arriving in this physical realm in some way. It's a perspective, it's a mindset. They're being encouraged to focus on their mindset, focus on the way they're perceiving this connection, the Divine Masculine. Focus on why they feel like they need this Divine Masculine. And I'm not saying they don't need the Divine Masculine or want them. It's just, it's having to look at the underlying reasons for why we feel we need and want things. Why we feel we need and want people, you know. There's something about that for this Divine Feminine. Like where that feeling comes from, or where the reaction, the response to these feelings comes from. If it's from the way they've been treated in the past or their past experiences with people, it's important to go within and heal that. Heal it, let it contribute to their growth. Let it contribute to their ascension, let it contribute to being more aligned to this connection, right? Because if we're coming into these connections with baggage, or if we're coming into these connections with a jaded perspective on love, others, you know, like, specifically if, I don't know what's going on, I think this Divine Feminine has been, like, when I'm saying severely hurt, people don't go around cutting other people's heads off for no reason. Something's gone on, and I don't know if that's within this connection and or outside of this connection. But this Divine Feminine can't come into this connection. They can't physically unite with their Divine Masculine if they still carry that energy, if they still carry this response or reaction to certain kinds of situations or behaviors or perceptions. And I think when I was talking about the Strength card with taming the beast within, right? It's like, I think that's part of this Divine Feminine's beast within that they're learning to tame. They can do it, of course. It's just continuing to grow, to learn about ourselves, etc., right? Why is a Page of Swords here for this Divine Feminine's current obstacle challenge? Why is the Page of Swords here? Yeah, Seven of Cups. Yeah, this is the Seven of Cups. Page of Swords, and again, with the beneficial energy for them to lean into, the Seven of Cups is here with the Sun. And then the Seven of Cups with the Moon, not seeing. Yeah, it's like something happens to this Divine Feminine when they can't see or they don't know something. It's like of all the possibilities that they choose, they might tend to go for the more negative ones, like how I was saying before, worst case scenario. But it's something deeper than that. It's something deeper than their choice to see things that way. Their perception, the reasons they go for the more negative outcomes or the worst case scenarios is because there's deep reasons why. It's not as simple as, oh, just look at things this way instead, you know? And I think that this is something this Divine Feminine is very aware of, and it's probably something they've been working on. And this is a perfect time for them to continue working on that, maybe focusing on this a little more, making this a priority. Focus on why they're triggered. And they're triggered by something involving passion, desire, wanting. They're triggered by something having to do with that. And that's, again, in this connection towards the Divine Masculine in general. There's something that happens that triggers this Divine Feminine when they don't know all the information, or when they don't know what's going on. They have like an autopilot response. And again, this doesn't have to be like overall big picture wise their response, but on occasion maybe they have an autopilot response to go towards the negative worst case scenarios. And this Divine Feminine is being encouraged to really look into that. Look into why that is. Why is that? And what can you do about it? What can they do about it to free themselves from that? You know, that's hell. When you're put in situations and the possibilities that you see are those of hopelessness, of betrayal, of, you know, things going wrong. That's a horrible way to live inside one's mind, even if it's just temporary, even if it's for an hour, even if it's for a day, a week. Whatever it is, that's no way to live inside one's head, especially with such a beautiful, important divine connection. Trust that God is not going to give you a divine counterpart that's going to F you over. They're not going to give you a counterpart severed head, you know what I mean? Like, that's not who you're going to end up with. That's not who God decides is the person for you, you know? And it's important to trust that, to trust your Divine Masculine. Regardless of what's gone on in the past. It's like trusting that if this Divine Feminine's been hurt in some way by this Divine Masculine, trusting that that's all part of this process. There's probably a really good reason why it happened. And trust that it's going to be okay. Trust that it's going to be okay. The Hermit just flipped out. An inner knowing. This Divine Feminine has an inner knowing of that. Alright. And there's something here about hope, or seeing something as not real or imaginary. Unsure if it's in their imagination, or if it's real. Unsure if there's any real possibility for this. That's what it is. That's what it is. I'm not saying entirely. Something's happened to this Divine Feminine, or this Divine Feminine has experienced the feeling of hope, or the feeling of believing something that maybe led to them feeling hurt, betrayed in some way. In this connection, outside of the connection, both. That's why this Divine Feminine gets triggered. This Divine Feminine gets triggered when they allow themselves to be open to the possibility. To be open to the possibility of good things happening. This is messed up. This is messed up. But I think that's what's going on here. I think that the reason this Divine Feminine goes to worst case scenario is because that's what they've seen. That's what they've experienced. That's why they have a collection of friggin' severed heads. Alright. Peace. Being at peace. Not knowing. Not seeing. Being at peace. Having faith. Trust in the Divine Masculine. In this connection in general. having peace and expecting, or having peace and preparing for the best possible outcome versus the worst possible outcome. Stop sharpening your sword, put it down, put your severed head collection in a closet somewhere for now, maybe donate it, I don't know, sell it. Go make something. Go create. Go focus on what's going to bring you happiness, positivity, light, vitality. It's going to be okay, Divine Feminine. Why is the Nine of Wands here for what's going well for Divine Feminine in this connection? Why is Nine of Wands here for what's going well for Divine Feminine? Page of Wands. Good news. Expecting good news. Yes. It's like this Divine Feminine has two sides to them, right? They have the side that's this Queen of Swords. Understandably so. This isn't someone who's a Queen of Swords, who becomes emotionally detached, who goes a little cold for no reason. That's not this type of person. And whatever reasons it is, that's something this Empress energy, that's what they need to address within themselves. Get a better understanding of why that happens. What can they do? What can you do, Divine Feminine, to maybe, I don't know, you can still be the Queen of Swords, but the whole head thing, maybe that's the old you. You know what I mean? You don't have to be brutal within yourself, your own thoughts, towards your thoughts of others, or regarding your thoughts of others. It doesn't always have to be worst case scenario that leads to severed heads. Page of Wands, feeling hopeful. Nine of Wands. Yeah, this Divine Feminine has two sides to them. I think the bigger side of them is a side that has faith. A side of them that has grown a lot. They've evolved. They understand that there still is the possibility for the best possible outcome. I just think that their life has probably shown them that oftentimes things aren't good. Oftentimes things don't end well, regardless of what they do. You know, there's only so much we can do as individuals when it comes to protecting ourselves, whilst still remaining open to possibilities, by not closing ourselves off completely. There's only so much I think I was speaking about this in the last video I made. I don't remember who that was for. It was a river reading, but I was talking about how my mom and I were talking about trusting people. Trusting, having faith that despite all that you've been through, Divine Feminine, despite all the hurt, all of the pain, the disappointments, the betrayals, despite all of that, there's still a possibility that this Divine Masculine isn't going to be like the rest of them. This Divine Masculine isn't going to do what the rest of them did. It's like having the ability to believe in a happy ending. Believe in the story ending well, you know? Which is so messed up. Like, I feel it deeply. Like, it's hard. It's very hard to be open to the possibility of things going well. When you don't know what's going on, or when you're unsure about how something's going to turn out, you don't know what to expect, it can be very easy for someone who's already experienced betrayals. Like, I don't even know. I don't think there's a word I can come up with right now. Whoever this Divine Feminine is, they understand. They understand what I'm trying to say. Good things are still possible. Positive outcomes are still possible. This Divine Feminine, what's going well for them in this connection, they are aware of that. They have not given up. It's just something's gone on. And I strongly believe it happened in this hole where they discovered this passion, rediscovered the passion. It's like they had to sift through stuff. They had to sift through things, and I think something triggered them. Something triggered them into going back into like worst case scenario mode. Temporarily. This isn't how this divine feminine currently operates as a whole. Or on a usual, typical basis. It's not. But something happened here. And it's an important part of the process as they elevate. Alright. What's going well for them? 9 of Wands, 3 of Wands, Page of Wands. Yeah, it's all about the wands. The feelings of desire. It's like someone who's afraid of wanting. It's someone who's afraid of wanting because, I don't know, maybe they've never really, I don't know, gotten what they wanted in some way. Huh. Why is the Empress here for Divine Feminine's guidance advice regarding this energy? 4 of Pentacles. This person is protecting their treasures. It's protecting what they've acquired. And this Queen of Swords is clarifying that Empress. It's like there's still a way to have boundaries. There's still a way to protect oneself in a loving, compassionate way without closing themselves off to good things happening. 9 of Wands, boundaries, right? 9 of Wands, protecting oneself. 4 of Pentacles. It's like in this scenario, you are safe. You're protected. You're protected. This Divine Feminine is protected. It's okay for them to, I'm getting like soften. It's okay to soften your energy. You don't have to be on high alert. You don't have to have all the traps set up just in case, you know. Just in case anyone tries anything funny. It's fine. No, you don't need to make space in your head collection for new ones. Like you're not going to need your sword. I mean in a beneficial, peaceful manner. But you're not going to, you don't need to sharpen them. You don't need to sharpen your sword collection. You don't need to clear out room in your head collection for new ones. It is safe for you to open up. It's safe for you to soften your energy. It's safe for you to nurture whatever it is you have in this connection already. Whatever you have with the Divine Feminine or Divine Masculine, it's okay for you to nurture that. It's okay for you to expect good things to happen within this connection. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. You can rest your sword hand. You can rest your head holding hand. You've got like a death grip on their hair. Just drop it. Wow. Alright, Divine Feminine. What should we do? I haven't planned this far ahead. Let's get some guidance advice for each zodiac sign. How do I want to do this right now? I think I want to use the... Hold on a second. I want to use... Where is it? I want to use this little deck. You'll know what I'm talking about in a second. I want to use this little deck. This one. With the words. Is this a good idea? Yeah. Alright, let's start all signs. So we're going to start with Aries and end with Pisces. What guidance advice do we have for the Aries Divine Feminine Collective? Aries Divine Feminine Collective. Maintenance. The earthly realm begs your devoted attention. Explore self-care rituals to unlock your next level. Be willing to find an enjoyable way to do mundane tasks. I'm not sure if you can see this, but I'll hold it up anyway. Maintenance. So, Aries Collective, you're being encouraged to devote your attention to the earthly realm. Remember when I was saying earlier when it was like a creative outlet or something like that? Utilizing that passionate energy of desire, of excitement, making something out of it. You're being encouraged to devote your attention to the earthly realm at this point. Explore self-care rituals to unlock your next level. How can you increase your self-care at this time? How can you, is there anything else you can do to help take care of yourself right now? Be willing to find an enjoyable way to do mundane tasks. If you find yourself doing mundane tasks and it lacks excitement, or you're not feeling fulfilled doing that, perhaps there's something you can do to help increase the way you enjoy it in some way. Alright, who's next? Aries, Taurus. What do we have for the Taurus Divine Feminine Collective? Obsession. Notice what pulls you forward with great intensity. Evaluate your priorities before charging in with full force. Check in with unconscious passion. Does it support you? Notice so maybe there's something you're being pulled towards with great intensity. It's like observing that. What's pulling you forward and why is it pulling you forward? Evaluate your priorities before charging in with full force. Yeah, it's being more mindful about what we're being pulled towards. Is what you want to charge toward, is that for your highest good in some way, or is it something that maybe wouldn't be beneficial for you to devote your time and energy into? Priorities. Check in with unconscious passion. Does it support you? Yeah, to me this is basically saying that you're being guided to really notice and assess what it is that you're feeling desire towards, or what you're feeling pulled towards. Maybe understanding why a little bit, maybe trying to figure that out. Definitely figuring out if it's truly worth your time and effort. Like, is it something that's for your highest good, or is it something that's going to bring you short-term instant gratification? Who's next? Gemini? What do we have for Gemini Divine Feminine Collective? Temper. Tune the instrument. Manage your emotions diligently. Don't get derailed by mania, depression, or burnout. Pace yourself. Trust it will come to you with right timing. Yeah. So this is kind of, you're being encouraged to find ways to calm yourself when like I'm seeing that Queen of Swords with the severed head, right? Like when you feel like severing heads, what can you do to ground yourself, to calm yourself? Manage your emotions diligently. What can you do to establish control over your emotions? What can you do? Making sure, like when it says don't get derailed by mania, depression, or burnout, right? It's like recognizing early on when you're starting to feel out of control or some way, or out of control in some way, or you're feeling like you're feeling like you're about to be burnt out in some way. Recognizing early enough to where you can do something to prevent that, or you can do something to utilize those emotions and energies in a beneficial, productive way. Pace yourself. Trust it will come to you with the right timing. Yeah, not trying to hurry through anything or rush anything. Trust that it will come to you with the right timing. Who's next? Cancer? What do we have? I'm not going to take it officially. Celebrate. Take a moment to enjoy your accomplishments. Focus on successes for today. Fixing things can wait a bit. Appreciate creative comrades and show them your gratitude. Alright, what do we have for Cancer Divine Feminine Collective? Order. Find a drawer and organize it, literally or metaphorically. Take command and aim for your desired result. Find the right sequence. Be careful of perfectionism. Shout out Cancers. Happy birthday to all of you Cancer sons. Find a drawer and organize it. You're being encouraged to find ways to create order in your life. Find a drawer and organize it, literally or metaphorically. So, is there something in your life that needs organized, that would benefit from being organized? Whether that's your physical space, etc. Take command and aim for your desired result. Aim for your desired result. Yeah, it's kind of like, what are you putting your energy into? And when you find yourself, what am I trying? I'm getting the whole worst case scenario situation, but I don't know. Perhaps that's in other aspects of your life too, right? Take command and aim for your desired result. What can you do within what's in your control, right? Regarding your desired result, what can you do to encourage that desired result, to provide that desired result for yourself. Find the right sequence. Be careful of perfectionism. Find the right sequence. Be careful of perfectionism. Yeah, it's focusing on not expecting perfection from whatever this could be regarding, right? Not expecting perfection. This could be with yourself, from others, with something you're doing. Find the right sequence. Leo. What do we have for Leo Divine Feminine Collective? Expression. Your creative soul beckons you to create something tangible. Wait no longer. What you wish to make wishes you to make it. Tell us the truth with beauty. Yeah, I'm getting that creative outlet. When I was talking about needing a creative outlet, or that would be beneficial in some way, utilizing your energy to create something. Your creative soul beckons. You're being encouraged to create something tangible. Wait no longer. Is there something you've been thinking about creating, and maybe you've been waiting or holding back in some way? You're being encouraged to go for it, Leo. What you wish to make wishes you to make it. Tell us the truth with beauty. Maybe I'm getting like someone could be like interested in making music, or you do make music. You're telling your story through music or through another medium in some way. Tell us the truth with beauty. Seeing the beauty within your truth, what you're expressing. Leo. Alright, who we got? Virgo? What do we have for Virgo Divine Feminine Collective? The Virgo Divine Feminine Collective. Trust. Ask your guides. Act faithfully on their messages. Call forth the best in others through your attitude, energy, and expectations. Know that you are supported. Yeah. Interesting. Call forth the best in others through your attitude, energy, and expectations. It's like the energy that we're putting out there, the attitude we have, our perspective, the way we're choosing to look at things. Understanding that what we're putting out, we're getting back in various ways. Call forth the best in others, the best case scenario when it comes to other people. Understanding how your attitude, energy, and expectations influence that. Know that you are supported. Ask your guides. Act faithfully on their messages. Maybe you've been guided, divinely guided in some way. But I don't know if maybe you've had a hard time following. I'm not going to say following their instructions, but if you've been given guidance in some way and you're not following it, you're being encouraged to try following it. Give it a chance. Act faithfully on their messages. Trust. Ask your guides. Libra? What do we have for the Libra Collective Divine Feminines? Consistency. Hold space for sustainable vision. Find supportive rituals. Attract co-creators through the power and devotion of your enduring action. Persistence is required. You're being encouraged to be consistent in something. Find supportive rituals. Find things to do on a regular basis that support consistency for you. Attract co-creators through the power and devotion of your enduring action. If there's something you're doing, actions you're taking that are attracting co-creators. Yeah, there's definitely something here. I'm not sure. This is going to be different for all Libras involved, but something about being consistent in what you're doing in order to achieve the desired results. Persistence is required in this situation. Be persistent about whatever it is that you're working for, working towards, wanting. And that could be with actions taken. That can be with our thoughts. That can be with, could be with a lot of things, you know. Alright, who's next? Scorpio? Is it Scorpio? What do we have for the Scorpio Collective? Risk. Explore your leading edge. Abandon safety. Jump into the vortex of creative freedom. Trust that you will land wherever you are meant to be. Yes. If there's a risk you want to take, in what ways do you have a leading edge? You're being encouraged, guided to ask yourself that question. Abandon safety. Jump into the vortex of creative freedom. Obviously, this is not saying to take, it's not encouraging you to take unnecessary or foolish risks, right? This is more about creative freedom, risks associated with freedom, creative freedom, expressing yourself. Jump into the vortex of creative freedom. Like if there's something that you've been holding back from that you know you don't need to hold back from, abandon safety. Trust that you will land wherever you are meant to be. I'm getting kind of the Fool energy, right? The Fool is they're about to take a leap of faith towards a fresh start. They have trust that God, the universe, the divine, their higher powers, their source, trusting that they've got their back. They will land safely. Trust that you will land wherever you are meant to be. Who else we got? Ophiuchus. What do we have for Ophiuchus, Divine Feminine? Focus. Make a choice and take the appropriate next action. What you desire is worth your attention. Remove distraction. Put your intention and emotion with thought and aligned effort. You're being encouraged to find ways to remain focused on your goals, focused on what you want. Making a choice and taking the appropriate next action. Maybe you've been hesitating to take actions towards a choice you've made, or you've been wanting to make a choice, but have been hesitating on doing so. What you desire is worth your attention. Remove distraction. It's like maybe there's something you've desired, but you weren't sure if it was worth your attention. This card, God, the divine, they're wanting to let you know that it is in fact worth your attention. Remove distraction. It's okay to focus on it, removing other distractions. Put your intention and emotion with thought and aligned effort. Yeah, what outcomes do you want in this situation with your intentions, right? What do you intend to happen in this situation? What would you like to happen? Put that in motion with thought and aligned effort. I said something earlier, I don't remember when, if it was for these advice cards or if it was during the reading. Recreate, take a break, it will be there when you return. Try a fresh start, the results might surprise you. Genius requires action and rest to be made manifest. Recreate. Maybe you're being encouraged to focus on something that maybe you let go of or took a break from in some way. Sagittarius. What do we have for Sagittarius Divine Feminine Collective? Sagittarius. What do we have for Sagittarius? Friction. Receive the gift in the conflict. Empathize with an opposing viewpoint. Remember that when rough surfaces rub together enough, the final result is smoother. Yeah, it's like... Oh man, this is a loaded one. Receive the gift in the conflict. I'm just going to read it, and I'm going to let you, because I can go on about this, and I don't want to add to any conflict or friction. Receive the gift in the conflict. Empathize with an opposing viewpoint. Remember that when rough surfaces rub together enough, the final result is smoother. Perhaps there's conflict in some way, and it's important to understand that even if it might be hard to see things this way, that it's there for a higher good in some way. It's there because something good will come from that conflict. And I say that, I hesitate, because it's like conflict sucks. No one likes conflict. But sometimes we can look back and understand how that helped a situation or helped us in some way, big picture wise, right? So perhaps there's something like that going on. It also said, the card said, empathizing with a different viewpoint. It's like understanding that not everyone's going to see things how we see things. Or understanding that people aren't going to feel the same way we are about certain things. And I don't know, it's understanding that everyone's an individual, and we all have our ways because of everything that life has everything we've experienced in our lives, right? We've all had different lives. We've all grown up in different ways. We've all had different obstacles and challenges. There's reasons why people have different viewpoints, and it's empathizing with the fact that everyone's had a hard time in life. Everyone's felt insecure, alone, hurt. Understanding that, I don't know, where am I going with this? We're all just people, you know? We're all just people who operate in our individual ways because of different things, you know? It's being empathetic and compassionate towards others, even when they have differing viewpoints. Alright, who's next? Capricorn. What do we have for Capricorn, Divine Feminine? Magic. Invite Spirit's intervention. Pay attention to synchronicity. Invoke your will and your willingness. Invite Spirit's intervention. If there's something you want Spirit to intervene with, just ask for it, pray for it. Pay attention to synchronicity. Maybe there's signs happening, synchronicities. You're being encouraged to pay attention to those kinds of things, or to try to open yourself up to noticing them. Invoke your will and your willingness. Finding the will within, the willingness within. Why is magic here for Capricorn? Why is magic here for Capricorn? Ask. Requesting aid takes courage. Verbalize your need for support. If there's something you need help with, ask. Whether that's asking God, angels, the divine, your higher power, the universe. Asking. Asking takes courage. Verbalize your need for support. Never hesitate to ask. If it's others in the physical realm you're trying to ask, you're being encouraged to just ask. Give someone the gift of being an important part of your hero's journey. Delegate it to your guides. Invite Spirit's intervention. Yeah, you're being encouraged. If there's something that you need Spirit's help with, you need God's help with, ask for help. Find the courage. Find the willingness and willpower to ask. Alright, who's next? Aquarius? What do we have for the Aquarian Divine Feminine Collective? Paradox. Explore the contradiction. Let it breathe life into the situation. Release stagnating ambivalence. Embrace your dichotomy. Try the wrong approach. Release stagnating ambivalence. Now's my time to display what I've learned about this card. Ambivalence is when we have like two minds about something. It's like we have our two beliefs or ideas or opinions, and they contradict one another. Release stagnating. That can lead to stagnation, like not knowing what to do because of that. Explore the contradiction. Let it breathe life into the situation. Try the wrong approach. Embrace your dichotomy. It's like embracing the two sides we have. I think earlier I was saying about like the Divine Feminine having two sides to them that are like the opposite of one another, and I think a lot of us do. I think probably everyone does. Embracing the different aspects of ourselves and finding a way to operate without having to shun one side of the other, or without having to shun any aspects of ourselves, finding ways to integrate that into who we are as a whole. I'm a firm believer that we have these sides to us that, you know, we have these sides to us. And sometimes we just want to like sweep them under the rug or ignore them or suppress them. I'm a firm believer that we have those sides because we're supposed to learn how to integrate them into who we are as whole individuals. You know, like there's a way to utilize whatever that side is that is for your highest good or for working towards your true purpose in some way. It's there to help you in some way. And oftentimes these are things that we find harmful to ourselves or others, and they can be if we go full on. If we go full on into those energies, they can be destructive. But I believe that they are of use. They can be of use. It's just we have to really be patient with ourselves and understanding and accepting that maybe there is a possibility to use that instead of trying to suppress it or ignore it, etc., right? Try the wrong approach. Release stagnating ambivalence. And explore the contradiction. Let it breathe life into the situation. There's something contradictory happening. Let it breathe life into the situation. Explore the contradiction. I'm getting kind of like black and white thinking, and then seeing the gray. Being able to see the gray tones as well. I don't know. I don't know what that can mean. Pisces. What do we have for Pisces Divine Feminine? Obsession. Who got this? Gemini? Taurus? I don't remember. Notice what pulls you forward with great intensity. Evaluate your priorities before charging in with full force. Check in with unconscious passion. Does it support you? To me, this is a card of noticing, observing, understanding, analyzing what you're feeling pulled towards with great intensity. It's like, why are you being pulled that way? Or why are you feeling so strongly about that way? You're being encouraged to notice that and evaluate your priorities before charging in with full force. Though you might be feeling pulled towards this with great intensity and you want to go full force, evaluate if it's something that is in alignment with your higher purpose, your higher self. Is this something that would truly be beneficial for you, big picture wise, or is it something that will provide short-term, instant gratification? You're being encouraged to notice and evaluate what you're being pulled forward or pulled towards with great force. Evaluate your priorities before charging in with full force. Is this something that you should be, from the opinion of your higher self, is this something that you should be going full force into right now or at all? Those are questions that you're being encouraged to ask yourself. All right. I think that's all of you. It's all of us. If you're still here, my goodness, thank you. I do appreciate you a whole lot. And yeah, till next time. Bye.